JPMorgan, Jamie Dimon had a pretty blockbuster year. Every guest that we talk to talks about how JPMorgan is kind of the benchmark when it comes to the big banks that they're looking at, that they're investing in.
Yeah, and remember, this is really the first set of large bank CEO pay packages coming out of the gate. And we know that JPMorgan stock performance-wise did a lot better than everybody else. The board, in its statement, in the filing that had come out, did cite the significant challenges of the regional bank turmoil and ongoing growing political tensions, and Jamie Dimon's ability to navigate those things around the world as part of the reason for this compensation increase at the end of the day.
They benefited from it. They bought First Republic.
Exactly. And they did indeed cite the record revenue for the 6th consecutive year at JPMorgan. Of course, that was also aided in part by that First Republic acquisition.
Give us a sense here. Are the other big bank CEOs going to see similar pay packages? Because I feel like at least in the more recent years, they've been relatively neck and neck. I mean, you know, a million here, a million there, difference here. But there doesn't seem to be a lot of variation these days. Why not?
A few reasons, and we did see in recent years either static or even lower pay because some of these banks have had some troubles that they've run into. I think, for example, if you look over at Goldman Sachs, how are they going to assess him this year in the middle of a very big set of strategic changes being made? Some things you've also seen in recent years is special bonuses in good years that shareholders actually have objected to. In the case of JPMorgan, for example, you did see some pushback. So, you know, you think about the rise, of course, 36 million is significant, but at the same time, it was a banner year for JPMorgan. It's not, you know, relatively a massive jump, right? But it is an increase.
It's still a lot of money, though.
It's still a lot of money.
It's not Tim Cook money, but
you
it's
want to
still
hear a fun fact, though?
Sure. Give me a fun
It is
fact.
a lot of money, but yeah, it's not Tim Cook money. If you look at kind of the most highly paid executives, most of them do not come from the financial industry.
No.
And so you do have, for example, Jamie Dimon, 36 million, over at the private capital counterparts, they're shelling out hundreds of millions of dollars over a couple of year span. So that's the competition that they're facing.
They don't have the regulatory oversight that JPMorgan does. Just to note here that Dimon's total compensation includes an annual base salary of $1.5 million and performance-based variable incentive compensation, bonuses and the like, of $34.5 million. I know this question gets asked a lot, but what do we know about succession planning over at JPMorgan? Because for a long time, the running joke has been, ask me in 5 years, ask me in 5 years. Where are we in that cycle?
Ask me in another 5 years. No, one thing that's important to note is, and we see this normally in the proxy filings, what all of his deputies will be compensated in this era as well. We are watching a few women in particular. We're watching Marianne Lake. We are watching Jennifer Pipsack, for example. In recent years, they've been given new roles, expanded roles, and they have worked in many different parts of the business. And Jeremy Barnum, his own CFO, has been playing a very public role these days as well. So the future of JPMorgan, in addition to Daniel Pinto, those women are in particular who we're keeping our eye on.